Hello everyone, welcome back to Rebel Brick. We're doing our Sunday role-playing game. So this is episode, I believe, 5 here of Dark Horizons. Actually, technically, kind of because we had our characters almost dying. This is almost like a soft reboot. So this is would be episode 2 for New Dawn. So it's Dark Horizons, New Dawn, episode 5. So today we find our group. We are once again transporting other vessels from New Republic space going out to alright, so we're going from New Republic space to Imperial space. Today we have 3 different vessels that we are actually helping to transport. We're doing everything with Lego today, so because we do have our transport, these are the Lego TIE fighters that they had that came with it. They're nice little small ones, and the regrettable part is I do not have any A-wings, so we will have to just kind of make do with with something else for A-wings today. I will look to see what I can come up with, because I wasn't thinking about making A-wings for whatever reason. I just kind of lost track. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff at work, trying to get other videos and all that other stuff. And then today, I'm at my wit's end with my chainsaw. So I really am at my wit's end with that silly thing. It runs nice. It's just the whole chain and bar issue. And I don't know if anyone here is dealt with chainsaws. It's got to be the most minor thing in the world, but it's what's keeping me from actually running things properly. I'm not a big person to deal with the chainsaws, so I haven't had any issues as long as the chain and everything was running. But now that I'm having issues, I'm having issues. But on to fun things here. Okay. So here we are. We're transporting 3 different ships. These are going to be our fighters. I do need some designation to mark them differently between our TIE fighters and our A-wings. So we got to figure something out here. I got some bricks right behind me. I think if we do something a little bit, this one and this one will be our A-wings for today. I will see what I can find for A-wings. I do have one more X-wing I can scrounge up, but that doesn't help us for A-wings. But we'll get something. As we keep this going, we'll get this going better, and I'll keep trying to refine this. So here we go. So we are in the middle, or out in space, sitting above one of the local planets that we do a lot of transportation for, and we're about ready to take off to jump into hyperspace. So I got one down, I want the other one down. It just messes with my mind, the silliness. Okay, so we're about to jump. Our fighters are actually going to be there. I'm going to move them off to the side here. I don't know what I'm going to use for anything else if we get anything else, but we will deal with that as we go along here. Now I gotta find my dice. Okay. So as you hear me rumble around grabbing some dice out, we have 3. And then I got 3 more in here. Our copper ones. Alright, so we got 6 dice. Okay, so as we're about to take off, our ships all have to roll for astrogation. Let me see what we have here for sheets, because like I said, I've been dealing with other things. So alright, so our ship, dun, 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 dun. Well, that doesn't, oh yeah, that's right, I was using the TIE fighter skill. Alright, so we have 6 dice. So this copper one will be our wild die. So let's see. Gunnery. Uh-oh. I don't have an astrogation here. I'm going to put it at a 5D. So I'll drop one of those out. So we do our astrogation. Okay, so this one's our wild die. So we got 5. We're trying to get a 10. There's our 11, 15, 18. So we got an 18 or better, so excuse me. I think one of those wood chips are sitting in the back of my throat. The biggest problem I'm having is, instead of having nice sized wood chips, I'm having little sawdust, so it goes everywhere. But it tasted like a wood chip. So if it comes back, I may have to pause and run and grab another soda or something to try and keep these down. Alright, so we make it, we don't have a problem. And then we're going to start using everybody else here. And I think we're going to use 4 as a standard. So this is our wild. 1, 2. There's something here. I don't know what that's from. Alright. We got 4. So we got a 4 here. Looking for a 10. And we got, there's a 10. We got a 12. Okay. Looking for a 10 out of the little guy here. Ooh, we got a wild die. So there's 10 right there. We got 18, and we could even go higher. And then we got this guy in the back here. And that's our wild die. We got 5. There's 11, 12, 13. So now we're good. Okay, so we all make it to the first jump. We're going to have 2 more jumps to get there where we're going. Depending on how things go, because, you know, I don't know what's all going to happen in between. I do have some ideas here. So we'll just, you know, figure things out along the way. So we meet up with everybody. We made the first leg. We're going to go on to our second leg here. Let's see, we get 5. And we got a 2. There's our 10 right there. We got a 18. So, alright, so we definitely made it. Of course, we'll get our first person here. And they got a 1 on the wild die, so they got an 8. So they are a no-show. We'll have to see what happens here. Okay, so we got a 4. We got an 8 there, so that's 12. We got a 15, so the little guy made it. And then last but not least, our big guy in the back here. Okay, so we got a 4. Whoops. We got a 4, so we got a 9 plus a 6, so that's a 15. So this time we've lost our first, our lead ship out of the convoy that we're working with. Last week it was always that last ship. So now we're going to have to go find them. Now last week we were using our droid because he actually had a better skill for tracking. Here we are. Okay. So we have our KDY-4 tech droid. Dun, 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 dun. He's got a perception search of 5. So we're going to take 5 dice. He's going to do a search. I don't know if maybe it might be more like a computer thing or use or whatever, but okay, so he's doing a search. This was our wild die, so we got a 6 there. There's a 10. There's a 19. We could go higher. We got a 15 or better, which is what we were kind of aiming for last week, I believe. So we found where our lost ship went. So now we will jump back. We'll keep our ships here. I think what we'll do is, why don't we drop off 2 of the TIE fighters maybe to stay with them to help protect them. Now we're going to jump back. We're going to take 2 more we'll take the 2 A-wings, and then we'll go and try and see what we can do. So now we got to do our astrogation to go find our lost lamb. And of course, that's our wild die with a 6. Here's a 10, 21. So we made it. So we pick up our lost lamb here. Now we're going to try and jump again. Alright, so there's our wild die with a 6. We got 10, 20, and we could keep going, but we don't need to. So we're going to go there. Now we're going to take one die away because they only have 4. Okay. So our wild die is a 2. And we got 6 and a 5, so there's an 11. We got a 15 total. Alright, so he catches up with everybody else. We pick up our 2 TIE fighters. And then we'll go from here. We got one more jump to go, and then we're going to make it. So, never really knowing exactly where this is all going to end up. Like I said, I do have an idea of things I want to do for some different adventure today. But this is our kind of mission set. Alright, so we got a 3 on our wild die. We have another 3. There's a 6, 9, 10, and 11. So we barely skimmed by. And that happens sometimes. You get really close, even with 5 dice. Just trying to get a 10. Alright, so our lead ship. See if he makes it this time. And we got a 4. We got a 5 there. So we get an 11. So our lead ship makes it. Our next ship. Okay, so there's a 10 right there. We have a 3 on a wild die, so that doesn't take anything away. So we got a 14 total. That works. And then our last ship here in the back. Okay, we got a 5 on the wild die. We got 5 there, so there's a 10. They got a 15. So we all make it to the final destination. Now with this going on, our standard operation and that is we'll land along with the ships, make sure that they make it down to the ground all safe and sound. Launch off our fighter craft, which will land accordingly around where we are, typically probably closer to our ship than everybody else's, because I'm sure when you have a convoy like this coming in, and I'm going to guess that, or I'm going to say that this is probably a bigger system. So if you think of like Coruscant, where they have that huge runway, something like that. So if you think of our standard runways, you know, you're just going to land ships just off of that, and then we have traffic that goes around. So we're going to kind of jump off of here. We will have, we'll say a few hour layover before we get going again. So with that going on, you know, our characters can actually kind of run around. So I will move our ships off here a little bit. Hopefully I don't make them fall, but I'm just going to move them up here off the pool table just a tad, just so they're a little bit out of the way. And that doesn't want to sit there. Yeah, it's just going to be a little finicky there. And then this one might be a little bit more interesting. I may have to move this one a little. Yep. All right. Just over there. Okay. And we're going to get our little ships out of the way. All right. So as I'm setting this up, so we have our small town here. I will put out some road plates. Just saying that we're just walking around through like a downtown or something like that, or you know, whatever it may be, you know. I don't have any houses. I'm just going to set these up just for some real quick shops. That's why I kind of built those like that, so that way we have something there. Like I said, I'm just kind of building this up just as a something here. So I'm just grabbing some quick buildings that I can throw out. Alright, so we got a couple shops here. Now remember, this is an Imperial space, so we have to kind of watch what we're doing. We have more laws, more structure here, and that's just the whole thing. People that live in Imperial space in this time frame, the Empire is a little bit more soft and friendly and all that stuff. We have stormtroopers wandering around, but they're not really getting on everybody's cases about everything. They're there more as security in that, and less for like harassing people and so on and so forth that we would typically think about. Alright, so as I'm populating our city here a little bit, walking around my pool table trying to do this, I got this guy over here. See, when I'm on the other side I can't see my screen, so I don't know exactly where. Okay, so that I can leave. That's a little too far off. So we got a couple buildings here. Alright, let me get our actors here. So Mandrell and then Marsha, I remember their name, trying to deal with everything else, which I'm happy about. Alright, so then we also have some other individuals here, and make them stand a little easier. Put them on some bases here. Alright. Just showing out, yeah, there's people around and all that stuff. So just want to keep that kind of, it might be a slower area or whatever else, but we have people there. Okay, so we're gonna kind of kick back, maybe do some window shopping or so on and so forth and all that, seeing that if we're going to have to be back on the ship in a couple hours, I don't think our characters are going to try and kick back a couple drinks just in case. So we're going to kind of go through this. My mind's finishing up exactly what I wanted us to do. Alright, so as we're walking through, we get approached by an individual. I'll just use this as the individual. And this is one of the crew members on one of the ships that we just helped to convoy over here. And this character says, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And the character, we're yeah, sure, thinking everything's all good and done, and hey, we're ready for just having a little leisure stroll and all that without having to worry about artificial gravity or anything else. So hey, soak up some sun rays and all that. So the character says, "Hey, can I really want to talk to you about something that's been worrying me." So we go and we kind of step off to the side and we kind of talk. So we will hit this little alleyway here. So we get off to the side and we're kind of talking, and this character has some concerns because they've seen some not so good things coming in some of the cargo that they don't think should be legal. So it's some possible contraband. We're not exactly certain 100% of what it all really is, but we're willing to listen. So as the character explains that some of the cargo may have some livestock that maybe should not be livestock, and there's a good chance that from their understanding, essentially we have human trafficking of one alien sort or another, and they've been freezing them in carbonite so that way it passes through whatever they got to pass through and all that stuff. So it's up to us to try and figure out what's going on in that. So that kind of leads us into our adventure here. So first of all, we're going to need some proof. She said that there's a warehouse off to a different district. She won't go over there because she's afraid that she might get caught and she can't afford to lose her job. But on the other hand, she doesn't want to see any of this stuff going on either, which our characters are very sympathetic with. Really bad stuff. So we're gonna go check it out, at least just to see what we can see. See if we can just see people frozen in carbonite, whatever. So we're going to take off, and then we're going to sneak into, I'm not going to have a map for this because I had no pre-planned map. This is some idea that I've kind of come up with a little bit on the fly. So, as I walk around the pool table here, all right. So we're gonna worry about this. We're gonna see what's going on, and we're gonna see what we can or can't do. So our two characters, we're going to try and sneak. We're going to do a little search in the area that she was talking about. I have a 4D, so I'm going to roll that. I'm looking for a 10 or better, trying to find the warehouse that we're looking for. Okay, so I have a 6 on our wild die. There's our 10 right there, and we got an 18. So we find the warehouse with me kind of leading. Mandrell is following, so we make it to our warehouse. So I'm going to pull us off to the side here, and we're not going to go quite up to it. We're going to sit back and just watch the place and see what we can see. You know, we're going to try and keep an eye on our time because we only have so much time. So as we go through this, we'll kind of see what we can find. I'm going to keep this a little bit, you know, trying to move my mouse here so I don't bump the mouse. Okay, we're gonna roll this out, and you know, like I said, we're gonna take our time. We're gonna just observe. You know, whether this is true or false, we don't know. We just know that if it is true, it's something that we don't agree with either, and it's just the way things are, and we're just trying to make sure that we got things right. Okay. So I've got to do a streetwise, I think. So let's do a streetwise, and it's going to be off of my roll because Mandrell's only got a +1. So in other words, all I'm going to have is a 1 out of him. Okay, holy shishkis. Okay, so we got a 10 here, a 6 with our wild die, and then another 3. So we get a 19. So we do see some crates coming in, and these crates are roughly about the size of what a person frozen in carbonite could be, but it seems kind of odd that they would have them in a crate though. So maybe this is true, maybe this isn't true. So I think if we do a little sneaking, and we do notice that there seems to be some sort of guard at the front door. So let's see. Sneak is under perception, so we're going to try that. I've got a 3, so we'll try it. We'll see if we can't sneak up to the door or see in a window or something like that. And what do we get? Holy shishkis. Okay, so a 6 on the wild die again. We got a 6, so that's 12, 13. Oh boy. 13. We got an 18. So we get up to the door, or kind of get up to like the wall of it or whatever. The guard doesn't really pay us any attention. We can see inside there, and we can see if this plate was the entrance, we can see like room here. There must be like a doorway that's open, and then they're going farther in there into the warehouse, and then that's all we can see. We can't make it out much past that. I'm going to do a spot check on them just to see how much more time they have. If we're running out of time, I'm going to roll it'll be a 1. If I roll a little bit more than that, it'll just be how many more rolls I can do before I would have to be out of here. And I have 5. So I have about 5 more investigation rolls or something like that I can do before we have to be gone, so we can get back to our ship on time. Otherwise, we're going to get in trouble. So even though we're investigating and all that, you know, we still have we have our duties on our ship, right? Okay. So we know we can see in. We know that we can see that they're hauling something back, but we don't know what it is. We'll try one more sneak roll to see if we can't get in. And we have a 1, so that takes our 5 away, so all we have is a 5. So we get stopped right there at the door. It says, nope, I'm sorry, you do not have the clearance to come back here. Let me do a, that's 1. Here. So that's 5. I only have 4 more rolls. Okay, that's 1. I want to see what I can find from him, so I'm going to search his uniform. Okay, so I've got a 1 on our wild die. I got a, so that takes my 6 away, so all I've got is a 2. So honestly, even though there could be something blatantly there, I don't notice anything special about his uniform. Okay? Essentially, I'm doing a really fast glance as he's telling us, nope, you're not allowed, you have to go away. So I don't see anything there. That takes us down to 3. So we're stopped at the door. We can't get in. So now the question is, what do we do? I would say that this would be something to bring up with our commander, because our commander, our captain of the ship, our commanding officer, he may know something about what's going on. Seeing that he is Imperial. You know, we're from the New Republic, so you know there are different things going on there. I do have a solution to this, so there is a solution to this, but I don't know if our characters are going to find this out. Okay, I got 3 more rolls I can do, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what we need or what we can do. We're going to sneak around the back. We're going to try sneaking around the back, see what we can find. So we're going to search around the building, see what we can find back there. Okay, so I got a 6 on our wild die. Nope, that's only a 5. I'm sorry. All right, 5. So we got a 15. So we do see that there is a door in the back. And again, there's going to be another guard there. Just a single guard. There is a door. So that's just where we are. I can try and see if I can't sneak past. But if I can't, then we're out of time and we have to go. Sneak 3 dice. I gotta make sure I have my wild die in here. Okay. So we got an 11, a 14. So we're just about to get into the door. Like, you know, the person's kind of looking at, you know, they never say that they have cell phones or anything. We'll say that he's looking at a data pad with something on or whatever. And we're just about to sneak in, and he kind of stops us and says, whoa, wait a minute. Nope, you are not allowed in here. You're going to have to move along. So we have one shot at anything to go. I think we've kind of burnt everything up. We're going to go back to the ship at this point, and we're going to talk to our commanding officer before we have to take off. So we'll go back. Let's see. We're going to use our Streetwise. That's my best roll. Streetwise or perception, either way. And we'll let our commanding officer know, and we'll see what we can and can't find out here. All right, so we got a 6. There's a 10, 11, 14. Okay. So this is what our commanding officer tells us. It says, you're right, there is some other cargo. It is really nothing to worry about. We are housing some of the worst criminals for the New Republic. And in our alliance with the New Republic, you know, it was agreed that to get some of these really vicious murderers. Out of just jail cells where they could, seeing how the laws kind of are in some areas, the governor of whatever planet it was had put some of the worst people, and they were frozen in carbonite, and they have been given to us in our care to make sure that they stay imprisoned, so they don't get out and harm others. So that's really what they were doing. It really wasn't slave trade or anything else. It wasn't trafficking, but it did kind of seem like that to them. So it is very, very admirable that we're checking in on it and all that, and he does commend us. So it's a good thing, right? Okay. So at this point, we're going to have to take off. So let me kind of move our stuff here. I'll get our characters kind of moved over a little bit. Trying to keep things a little bit on the upside, but on the other hand, have potential conspiracies going around, but I never know how the dice are going to roll. So we have to kind of see how things go on this. But trying to involve, some other ideas into possibilities and possible confrontations between, two different nations, to say it that way. Okay. I think I got our guys just off to the side here. I'll get them off. Alright. So we're going to take off, and then it's going to be us, and then it's going to be one other ship. So we're going to have just one other ship on the way back. Okay, and I'm going to grab those guys and put them over there just in case I need them. Okay, so we have 5 dice for rolling for us. Okay, and our wild die is a 5. And we have 10, 18 here. Okay, and then our other ship only has 4 dice. And we have 3 jumps to get back, so this is our first one. Alright, so their wild die is a 5, they got a 5 here, so we got a 14 total. So they make it for the first one. We're going to go for the second one, seeing I got 4 dice, we'll do theirs first. And oh boy, that's never good. They get a 5, they needed a 10. So they're lost. And we got a 6. There's an 11 right there. There's a 15. We got a 21 total. But unfortunately, we lost them. So now we got to search for them, and we got to do that little rigmarole again. Okay, so we got looking at my droid, trying to remember where that roll was. Search is 5D. Okay. So they're doing a search. We have a 5 on our wild die. We got a 10. There's a 16, 19 total. We needed a 15 or better in order to be able to find them, so we found them. So now we're going to go and try and catch them and reel them back in. Alright, so we got 2 in our wild die. So we got 5, 10, we got a 20. So now we find them. Now we're going to get back to where we needed to go. Looks like we made it. There's a 10 already, with a 6 being on our wild die. And then we got a 20 total, plus we could roll for more. We'll take 1 die away so that way they can roll. See what they got. Okay, they definitely have it. We got 12, 21. So we're at our first jump is made. Now we're going for our second one. We'll have them go. Okay, and they make their second one. We got a 6 on the wild die. There's a 10. We got a 16 plus whatever. And then we got 4 on the wild die. 9, 10, 14. Alright, that's our second one. This is our last one. All together. Alright. So, we got a 1 on our wild. And that's going to take one of the 4s away. The good news is we still have 10. So even though it took one of them away, we still have 10. So we still make it. Barely, but we still make it. Alright, we'll take one of those away. In our last ship. Okay, so we got 5 on the wild die. There's a 10. And then they got a 13. So now we make it back to where we first started with. So it's a shorter adventure today. Trying to whittle around with some other stuff. So we have episode 5. And I will give my characters about 5 character points, and then I will see about trying to level them up a little bit more. Just kind of working at that. A shorter adventure. Sometimes it gets a little longer, sometimes it's a little shorter. I think last time we kept losing that one ship so many more times. I think I had 5 jumps last time. This time it was only the 3. But I was trying to do a different adventure a little bit in there. Trying to have a little bit more fun. A little less combat, because I know when I was really doing the combat part, my characters were just almost dying left and right. So, trying to do a little bit more investigation, a little bit more other things going on. Trying to understand that, yes, we have differences of how we do things between the Rebel Alliance, or from the New Republic to the Empire. But in this time frame, because I want you to remember, this would be close to, or this is what, like 42 years after episode 6. But this is really based off of the extended universe. Okay? So this isn't the Force Awakens and all that stuff. I will happily grab ships out of there, or ships from the Ahsoka or anywhere else, but I'm really kind of following their storyline a little bit more. And in their storyline, there has been an entire planet's worth of Sith that are now out in the galaxy. So the Jedi are dealing with them, and that's where I was kind of going with the Venom group. They're going to still have some pirate groups coming from that, I think. I'll throw them in a little bit here and there, but I'm not going to say that they're all Sith and they're all going to have Force powers. If you notice my kind of Jedi-ish character, much like the Witches of Dathomir, where they are more of a mystic kind of character, but his race or his group or whatever really centers more on healing and that stuff, not combat, not other things, which in some of the Star Wars books they do talk about Jedi that do concentrate primarily on healing others, not fighting or investigation or anything else. So that's kind of where I'm going with this, just having some fun. It's not a big deal. We'll keep this going. We'll have some fun out of this. This should be interesting along the way. I do have some other ships. This one was actually hanging right above where the camera is, and I brought that down. I got some of the dust off of that, and I had this one out for a picture, and by golly, I had dust and a cobweb on there. So at the very beginning, if it jumps a little bit, I'm sorry. That sucker was all cleaned off for doing a comic strip, and suddenly now I had a cobweb there. So I got some very determined spiders down here that love to make cobwebs out of things overnight or two. I get a bunny looking at me. But that'll be it for today's adventure. It's a shorter adventure, but that's today's adventure. I said it last week or whatever. If you guys would like longer adventures, we can do it. I'm trying to keep them a little bit shorter, roughly about like 45 minutes or so. Between a half hour and 45 minutes. I don't know how much you guys enjoy longer ones or shorter adventures or whatever, and we'll just go from there. So thank you for visiting. I hope you have a wonderful day, and keep working.